Hey guys, welcome back. It's Jen with Happy Humble Home, and today we're going to be talking about how you can take care of your wooden utensils and wooden cutting boards. So before we jump into that though, don't forget to hit subscribe and ring that bell so that way you're notified of any adventures here on Happy Humble Home. All right guys, so today we're going to talk a little bit about taking care of wooden cutting boards or wooden utensils. As you can see here, this side is nice and smooth in condition. It's got, you can see a little bit of a nice shimmer from it from the oils. And this side, it's still got a little bit of shimmer and it's still smooth, but you can definitely tell in the discoloration that this has been very well used and very well loved. I've had this cutting board since December of 2019. And this is the first time that I have conditioned it. I never really thought about having to condition my wooden utensils or wooden cutting boards until recently. So I went and tried to find a way to make either a wood conditioner, wood butter, wood balm, whatever you want to call it, something that helps condition wooden cutting boards and helps you take care of them so that you get even longer life out of them. So the one that I found, I will leave the link to the description. I will leave in the description the link where I found it. But this is how much wood butter made. You don't need a whole lot to use on your product, so this will last me a very long time. So basically, you need a 3-to-1 ratio with beeswax to your oil. Now, this beeswax is just something I got off Amazon. I'll leave the link in the description box. The oil, I recommend using either like a coconut oil or a grapeseed oil, something like that that is food safe. Some people have used mineral oils, but if it's coming in contact with your food, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that because that's more like a petroleum product, I believe. Something that I wouldn't want to eat off of. So that's why I just used the coconut oil and your beeswax. It is very simple to make. What I simply did was I just put a pot of water, a small pot of water on the stove, and I set my actual glass jar in there. I went ahead and put my 1 cup of coconut oil and 1/3 cup of beeswax in there, and I put it on low heat, and I just sat there and I just stirred it and let it melt. It will take a little while to melt, so just be very patient with it. You can use a wooden spoon that you need to season anyways. Just kind of stir it up. That's what I did, and it worked great. And then once you're done, you just take it off the stove, let it set on the counter, and it will firm up into a butter. And then you are ready to use your product. And I'm going to actually show you how I season this one up. Now, ideally, I should have probably poured my oil into smaller containers so it would have been easier to use. But I clearly didn't, and that's a lesson for next time. So we're just going to take a knife and we're just going to take a little bit at a time, and we're just going to spread a little bit on the cutting board or your spoon, whatever you want to use. And then you're just going to gently rub it all around your cutting board. I probably honestly got a little bit too much, so I'm just going to put a little bit of that back in the jar because it really doesn't take a lot because you want a nice even layer. And the good thing about using the coconut oil is your hands actually smell really nice if you use your hands to do this. You can also use like a little bit of if you have a specific cleaning cloth you want to use, or like a paper towel, you could just dip it in the wood butter and use that. But I find it's easier for me just to use my hands a little bit, and then my hands actually smell like coconut, and it gets the extra beeswax too as well. So I'm not really worried because it's not a clean product I'm used. One thing too, whenever I do use my cutting board, I always try to make sure that I wash it right away. Depending on what I've used on it, I will either just rinse it off and dry it off really well, or if I need to, if I've used some kind of raw meats or something like that on it, then I will clean it with salt and some lemon or orange peel, or lemon or orange peel, or I'll use some salt and lemon juice to help clean it. If I feel like it needs a really good clean, I might take some mild dish soap to it, wash it down really good, scrub it, and then dry it off immediately. But I try not to use soap on it a whole lot, just because it is wood and it will absorb stuff. So, but I do want it clean whenever I use it for my cooking and whenever I use it for chopping products. So we got it all, and I've already kind of went over the edges this last time. So what you're going to do now is you're just going to let this set for probably 4 or 5 hours, or you can just leave it overnight, but you need to let it set out for at least, I would say probably at least 4 hours, maybe longer, depending on how long it has been since you've actually conditioned any of your wooden products. And so we're just going to let that set, and then once you're done setting, once you're done with it, you'll just take like a clean rag and just kind of lightly buff off any excess. And then once you're done, this is what you'll have. You'll see how much darker and smoother it is, and how it helps protect and helps fill in any spots that you made in the wood from the extra use. Because you can see here where, like I said, this is a product that is used. So that is how easy it is to make your homemade cutting boards. Please. Okay. So that's really how easy it is to make the wood butter. Very simple, very easy. Chances are you'll probably already have what you need in your cabinet. I'm just going to put, and whenever you do, make sure that you get all around the edges and everything as well. And this cutting board, like I said, it's one that just sits out on my counter, so it gets used pretty much on a daily basis. And I also want to give a shout out to where I got this cutting board from. It was a gift that my husband got me from Volunteer Handmade Products. I will leave a link to his Facebook page as well. But like I said, I've used this cutting board for years, and the quality, like, it's not, the seams are not split. It's 2 different types of wood. I love this cutting board. And one reason I want to keep it in a good condition is so that way it will last me a very long time. I also have another product that he made as well from Volunteer Handmade Products that I will show you as well. And originally, when I was given this cutting board, let's see, that was my condition side. Yeah, sorry. You can see where it's still lighter on this side because it hadn't soaked into the wood yet. So I'm trying to make sure I don't rub it off or set it down on my table with that side down right now. But where was I going with that? Yeah. I have no idea. But yeah, like I said, this was from Volunteer Handmade Products. He handmade this cutting board, and I'll show you a bigger one that I have that takes up and one of my entire counters, because I'll leave it on there because it's a big cutting board for when I need to do big meal prep and chopping. But so here's a small one, and I'm going to show you my other one. But the quality on these are absolutely amazing, and I love them so much, which is why for my anniversary, my husband got me a bigger wooden cutting board, and he actually had him would burn my YouTube channel name into it too. So I'm really excited to show you. So give me a second. Let me turn around the camera. All right, guys, so this is my other wooden cutting board that I just got a couple weeks ago because, like I said, my husband had this custom made for me for our anniversary. You can see there how he would burn my happy humble home in it. And again, y'all, this is like solid. It's really hard to lift it with just one hand because it's super heavy. But you can just see the immaculate detail and craftsmanship that goes into not just this piece, but any of its pieces. But particularly, I love the cutting boards. It's the same guy that made my other one that I was showing you how to wood condition. Now, I will say this. I just was given this a couple weeks ago, and whenever he does the wood cutting boards, he does go ahead and condition them with a food grade. Okay, so I'm gonna try, like, just to show you all how big this thing is. Like, this thing is, I probably could actually give you all the actual dimensions, but you know, what fun is that? We're gonna make this more complicated. Why not? Why not make it more complicated, right? But anyways, you can see the sheen on it because he does put a food grade conditioner on the cutting boards as well when he's done making them. And yeah, I love my cutting boards. And I had a hint kind of that this is what I was going to get. But you can see where this particular side that has the happy humble home on it. Yeah, it has my happy humble home up here. I'm holding it upside down, but whatever. But you can see where this part's a router. He took, I guess, like a router or whatever, but there's that nice little divot here. And then on this side, and then this side right here is completely smooth, which that actually works for me because that makes it even easier to know, because I tend to keep use one side for meats, one side for veggies. So I tried to not cut the same thing on, I try to keep products on one side of my cutting board depending on which side I'm needing that day. But this wooden cutting board literally just takes an entire counter on my counter, and it sits perfectly at my prep station for when I'm making supper. My other little wooden one actually sits on the other side of my stove. You've probably seen it in past videos, but it actually sits up on my other side of the stove. So these are products that I keep out and handy to make, and I absolutely love them. I love the quality, the detail, and just, yeah, it's immaculate. And then the actual little extra happy humble home is just a nice little touch. So definitely go check out his Facebook page. I will leave it in the comment section or in the description box as well, along with the link for the wood balm and where I got the products for the wood balm as well. As always, if y'all have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. And thanks for watching, and I'll check in with y'all later.